Hello everybody, RealityAlex here, back at it again with a brand new video. And yeah, I know, it's been a while since I've uploaded, and I can finally announce that I am going to be uploading once again regularly, hopefully 1 or 2 times a week, but we'll see how this goes. Dallas Rules and Mayhem 3 will be coming out very shortly, hopefully before the Overwatch League starts. But I want to say why I haven't been here for 2 months, and the reason why is because my computer stopped working. The Windows 10 kept on crashing, blah blah blah, and then I finally got Windows 10, put it into the computer, and now it's working fine and better than ever. Let's get on to the video, which is power rankings for the Overwatch League 2019 season. So this is going to be a 2-part series. I'm going to have teams number 20 to 11 on my power rankings for this video, and then the next video that comes out in a few days will be my top 10 Overwatch League teams. Now, in no means are these guaranteed. It's just fun to speculate. Feel free to, you know, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right in the comment section, and let's just try to be nice about it. Obviously, some of your teams are going to get roasted. Some of your teams are going to get praised. But in no means is this set in stone. So, with that out of the way, let's go on to number 20, which Chengdu Hunters. Now, the Chengdu Hunters are the first expansion team on my list, and one of the new additions to China. And overall, I do like that this team is full. They can all speak Mandarin. All of them are Chinese besides Bacon Jack, which I'm pretty sure he's from like Taiwan or something. But either way, I see a little bit of problems with their DPS, which sure, some of their DPS were pretty good a year ago, but they haven't played for a year. And that just concerns me, because you could have been good a year ago, but are you really like up there with all these, the best, literally the best DPS in the world? I don't know. It's a little bit concerning, especially in Overwatch League level. So it feels like RUI just kind of picked favorites from like before, when he definitely had better players to choose from. I do like the signing of Yvettel and Late Young. I think they were both on the World Cup team for Team China, which made it to the finals against Korea, but did get destroyed. RUI looked very good in the World Cup, but you can't deny that he was the Shanghai Dragons head coach from last season and did not do very good. So this guy, for me, he's either going to be very good or he's going to be very bad. And I see him leaning a little bit to very bad, because in the World Cup he had so much talent to work with, and here it's just like not very many. If you look at this roster, you don't see much talent. You don't see like an all-star. This team, they're probably going to have very good synergy, and if they're not washed up like many like to speculate they will be, this team could move up quite a bit of spaces, but I don't think that they will be a playoff contender whatsoever. I don't think it's even possible for them, not with the other talent on other teams. Alright, that's Chengdu Hunters at number 20. Moving on to number 19. We have the Washington Justice. Now, I would put this team higher on my list. Just looking at their roster, I would put them higher. But I saw their stage 1 schedule, and oh my god, it's so difficult. Let me just read some of their matches. First match, New York Excelsior. Second one, London Spitfire. Third one, Philadelphia Fusion. Those guys were insane in Season 1. Especially London and Philly in the playoffs. But holy crap, they have such a hard schedule. And it gets even harder. Well, it doesn't really get harder, but it's still very hard throughout the stage. And I don't really see them winning a game in Stage 1. So I think they're really going to need to have people that are going to keep the spirits up on the roster, because this is going to be hard for them to bounce back from. I do like Wizard Hyung and Janice and Otto. Those are like huge pickups for me. Guido, he kind of never looked good in the Overwatch League. I don't know if he never got to prove himself, but as of right now, he is not that good of a player if he's anything like he was on Seoul. Corey, rumored to be a very good hit scan, possibly one of the best from the West. It's possible. We'll see what happens. The rest of the players, they're kind of just out of nowhere. No one really knows them very much. I don't know. A lot of their team is just below average, and they do have some very good players in Janice and Addo. Those two players will carry them to some wins, and that's why I had them over Chengdu. But I could, if they do bounce back from stage 1 and they end up getting some wins, I could definitely see this team middle of the pack. Be middle of the pack. I do think that Otto is going to carry this team very hard. Big fan of Otto. I think he looked insane on the Shanghai Dragons, and I think it's very unfortunate that Shanghai got rid of Otto, but it's very fortunate for Washington that they picked up Otto and Janice. And there's a lot of problems with their management so far throughout the offseason, so it's just I see a lot of problems already. But we'll see what happens with the Washington Justice. I definitely can see them going higher, but right now I have them at number 19. Going on to number 18. We have the Florida Mayhem. Now, the reason why they're above Washington Justice is I think they have a little bit of an easier schedule at the beginning of the season. I do think that they're barely going to be above them. But also, they have Saya player, Zephyr, Hagopin, and Chris are all possibly going to be some maybe above average players. And with Saya player and Hagopin, it's going to be those are going to be two very good players for this team. But most of their team is just kind of bench warmers, to be honest. And they're put onto a team. That's basically what it is. There's not a lot of really good players. I don't understand why they have Tavik and Apply. They're never going to get playtime. Maybe Tavik gets a little bit of playtime because his role seems to be the projectile. I don't know if there's anybody else that plays projectile on this roster besides a little bit for Apply, I think. But he's two-way, so I don't really know about that. I think Swan will be the main tank for this team because honestly, when I look at SNT or Awesome Guy from Season 1, he was horrible. Actually horrible. Like, probably the worst Korean main tank out there. One of the worst in the whole league. People are even saying that Swoosh was better than him, and Swoosh never impressed. So, most of this team is very below average. Some of their players are very good. Say a player in Hagopin, for example. We'll see how good Hagopin is when he has starting time. He could definitely be a top 10 support. But then you look at their management, and they got a head coach that doesn't even speak Korean, and their whole starting roster is going to be Korean, dude. So they're going to be speaking Korean on stage, and the coaching staff's not even going to know what they're saying, so they can't improve comms. Coaching strats are going to be very hard for the players to just put out there because honestly, if the whole team is very bad at English or just learning right now, a lot of their strats are going to look pretty bad because they're just not going to understand it fully. The problem is I got rid of Ryder, which I don't think he was actually the main coach, but it kind of felt like it. I do realize that Mineral is the head coach, but it's just their coaching staff does not speak Korean. They're all like European, I'm pretty sure. And you have full Koreans besides Tavik and Apply that aren't going to play. And even if they were going to play, most of your roster is Korean. So it's going to be a little bit hard for your team. Well, no, it's not going to be a little bit hard. It's going to be very hard. So if this team is going to be good, it has to be a miracle. It literally has to be a miracle for this team to be good. I can see Chengdu and Washington easily going above Florida Mayhem. But since they have Say a player in Hagopin, and maybe Zephyr and Chris are pretty good, I do see them being ahead of them, but not by but not by very much, and I just can't go on with this team anymore. It's just way too much drama with this team going on, and they already have the most drama for season 2, which is just not a good thing to have before the season even starts. So yeah, that's Florida Mayhem at number 18. They're very lucky to be there right now. I would definitely put them at number 20 if Washington and Chengdu can like prove me wrong. Easily. But going on to 17. This one's a little bit controversial. You know, this team could be a little bit better. They could be actually worse. But I think it's a little bit more in the direction that they could be better. But Boston Uprising was a playoff team in season 1. So how in the world did a playoff team from season 1, number 3 in the regular season, how did they get so bad? Well, they got, first off, in stage 3 to 4, they got rid of their head coach Krusty because Huck thought that it was a good idea that he would just take over everything for it. And it didn't work out in stage 4, obviously, so there goes a very good head coach. Alright, what do we do next? Okay, so support line isn't very good, but, you know, we'll get rid of Neko, who's really good, actually. Yeah, bye-bye. Aim God, you looked okay in stage 4, that's fine. Okay, bye-bye, Neko. There's a lot of controversy with this team, with getting rid of Striker and Neko. Holy crap. They also got rid of Striker. Probably their best player from season 1. Come on, bruh. I do like this tank line. Gamsu and Note is very, very good. This is a very good tank line. Gamsu, he might not be top 10, but I consider him top 10 as a main tank. Note, top 3 diva in my opinion. Calyx is he just feeds. Honestly, he just feeds. He's a very bad main support. LMAO possibly gets starting time over Calyx, but I don't see it. I still see them running Calyx. Aim God, he was okay. Okay in stage 4, that's all I can say for him. Color Hex and Blase as a DPS duo. Really, you got 2 projectile players. Like, I'd be okay with it if one of them could possibly play hit scam, but from what I've seen, they can't. I think they can play. I think Color Hex might be able to play McCree, but I think that's it. They both play projectile. I think Blase is a little bit better than Color Hex. Also, Color Hex has already got himself suspended for 2 games or something like that. Fusions, they got 3 main tanks for whatever reason. I have no clue why they have 3 main tanks. It just makes no sense to me. But these are very good main tanks. Fusion's 2-way player, don't know why they have him. Axiom could possibly start over Gamsu, we'll see. Overall, this team's quite weak. I do like their tank line. That's about all I like about this team. Aim God's okay. That's why they're up here. If it wasn't for that, they'd be even lower. Not looking forward to this team right now. Really not. I kind of don't want to see them play. Honestly. It's boring. Very boring. It looks like Huck is kind of ruining his team in a sense. They start off pretty hard with the New York Excelsior and then go on to the Shanghai Dragons, which could possibly be a decent team, but we'll get onto them once we get further down the list. We'll see which video Shanghai is in. Alright, that is Boston at number 17. Going on to number 16. This one's a little bit hard. In my opinion, there's like a few teams that could be here, and the team that's going to be in this spot could definitely be a lot higher, but I'll give reasoning in a second. But we have the Paris Eternal at number 16. Now, I understand that this team has a lot of fans, and it's for a good reason. I'm a fan of this team. Holy crap. I do love the DPS duo of Shadowburn and Soon. They are full European. I hope they stay the same for that for a while. I said full European, right? This team is full European, and I hope they stay that way for a while, because this team is basically the European team. Like, sure, London, they're in London, but really, they're kind of just a Korean team with London Spitfire on it. But, Paris Eternal, honestly, this team's not bad, but it's just, I don't think they're good enough. I think in stage 1 it's gonna be a little bit hard for them because, first off, their schedule is quite hard, not gonna lie. Shadowburn and Soon aren't gonna be those huge carries in stage 1, I think, because DPS is not going to be in the meta if it stays the same as it is right now, which is goats. Danye possibly could start over Shadowburn. That's what people are speculating. Finzi could be a pretty good off tank. Benbest could be a pretty good main tank, but I'm saying could be a lot. And a lot of these players are just kind of out of nowhere. Cruz could be a very good Lucio. We'll have to see what happens there. But I'm not really sure, man. This team's very weird. They could be really good. They could be this spot right now that I have them in. I don't even want to talk about Kai. Don't know why he's on this team, but you know, maybe Kai proves us all wrong, and he's a pretty good assistant coach, not a head coach though. This team's half decent. I'm a little bit concerned because the last full European team that we saw come in was the Florida Mayhem, and we saw how bad they did in season 1. They did end up picking up some Koreans around the end, but yeah, but I do like that this team has more than just the minimum amount of players. That is good. In contrast to the Florida Mayhem just going with 6 players, but we'll have to see what happens with this team. I think a lot of their players still need to prove themselves. A lot of this team is a question mark for me, but I can definitely see them making it to playoffs. But as of right now, until I'm proven wrong, I will put this team at number 16. Now going on to number 15. We do have the Houston Outlaws, and this team, the only reason why I put them over Paris is because A, they got the season 1 experience. They almost made playoffs last year. That is true. They are very low though, because I think they're missing a lot of star power compared to the other teams above them. But also I think stage 1 will be quite good for the Houston Outlaws because of the meta. Now going on for this team, their tank line's okay. I do like Muma. I think he's the best Western main tank. Maybe Super's a little bit better than him, but we'll have to see. I think Spree is going to be a very good diva for this team in stage 1. That's just 100% going to happen. Cool Matt, he's about mediocre diva, you know. He could be pretty good, like he was in stage 1, but for the rest of the season, he was just kind of mediocre. He really was, and I don't know. Cool Matt just needs to perform well. Support line is what really gets me, is Raucous, Bonnie, and Boink. Yikers, I'm not a big fan of this support line. I think they definitely should have upgraded it, put in a few Koreans or something, but nah, this is just not gonna work. There is speculation that Banny is going to flex support and Boink is going to be main support, and then Raucous is not going to play. That could happen. I do like the DPS line of Dante and Linkster. I think it's quite strong. Now that they can rely on not just Linkster to carry them in matches like they did in season 1, but we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But their only Korean player is Arhan, and he's not gonna get very much playtime. He never really impressed in season 1. This team's very mediocre, and I think it'll stay the same. I'm putting them this low because of the support line. I think supports are massively going to affect this team, and I think that off tank is a little bit mediocre unless Spree is going to be playing for the whole season. But their team could be better than I have them at right now, but I just see the teams above them, they just have more power to them. But I do think that this team will have a lot of synergy. which could just make them go to playoffs. But I don't see it happening. I think they had some upgrades to do and they failed to do those upgrades. Going on to number 14, we have the Guangzhou Charge. Now the Guangzhou Charge could actually be a playoff team, but I just have them a little bit low because A, they're an expansion team, B, they need to prove themselves for a lot of their players. You know, Naro's not going to be able to play until May, so that's unluckers, but you know, we'll see what happens. Kib should be pretty good. A lot of their players should be pretty decent. I think Hoppa's a huge player for this team. Rio should be a pretty good main tank. He looked pretty good against Seoul in the show match. Happy looked very good in the show match. Eileen, I'm not really sure. I think he was rumored to be quite good, or just is good, but we'll have to see what happens with him. We'll just have to see what happens with this team. I think they definitely have a lot of potential to be higher on the list, but as of right now, I have them here. I think they have some stuff to work through, you know, maybe some internal problems or some communication errors with some Western players and some Koreans, but we'll see how they can do it. I think this team could be quite a good team, but we'll have to see what happens. As of right now, they're number 14 on my list. It could definitely be higher. I think they could make playoffs if they just bring everything together, but as of right now, I don't see it happening. Number 13. I have the Shanghai Dragons. I can't put this team any higher. They went 0-40 in Season 1, which is a huge management problem. Have they learned? Have they fixed their management? Yet to be proven. We'll have to see what happens. I do like their roster, though. That is why they are this high on the list so far. I think DM is a very good player for this team. I think DDing, Koma, Luffy should be all great players. Not really sure who's going to play over. I don't know if it's going to be Guguri or Guardian at that off-tank role. Fearless is an okay main tank. I mean, he definitely has some stuff to prove because now he's on a better team. So we'll have to see what happens. I can't roast him too hard because he was on the worst team. They never won a single game. Dia had some very good moments in Season 1, but was a little bit inconsistent. Also, he was on an 0-40 team. I don't know why they got rid of Otto. Just don't know why. Why did you get rid of Otto? I don't like that. I still think that this team is going to be this low because A, they're basically a contenders team. All the Korean talent, you know, maybe Runaway was at an Overwatch League level, but a lot of them, they were contenders, and a lot of this team is contenders. But I do think there's a lot of good players. Although Kongu Panthera, they had two very strong carries in DK and Roar. They are not on this roster, so we'll see how much that affects it. I think that it'll affect it quite a bit, in my opinion. I think this team could be great. I think this team could be quite good, possibly making the playoffs. But just seeing their last season record and concerns in the management and stuff, we'll have to see what happens. I think that they're this high because they have a lot of talent, but just not enough. All right, people that are putting them like top 5. You're crazy, in my opinion. People putting them in playoffs, in my opinion, is quite crazy. I think there's a little bit too much hype on this team. I just don't think that they're going to be that good. I don't think they're going to be as good as a lot of people suggest they will be. And this is very good for the Shanghai Dragons. Go from number 20 or number 12, last place, to number 13 in Season 2 out of 20 teams. I think that's great for them. I just can't put them any higher because of last season. Also, they have improved quite a bit, and we'll have to see. I think Season 3 could be their playoff year, but just not this year. Just not this year. I just don't think that the worst team ever in like any professional sports league to this level will just go from 0-40 to being in playoffs. I just can't see it happening. That's it for Shanghai. Like, literally, a lot of people could take that as I'm roasting them, but I'm not. This team, I can't believe they've improved so much. With their roster, at least. It's incredible. I'm very excited to see that. Going on to number 12. We have the Atlanta Reign. Now, the Atlanta Reign could actually be lower or higher on my list, but I have question marks with how big the roster is, so some subbing out errors possibly. Defiant, he could be like a very good player for this team, or he could be actually the part that kind of blows it up, because like we saw the same with like XQC, in my opinion, like really screwed over the Dallas Fuel at stage 1 and 2. As much of an XQC fan as I am, it did happen. You know, it wasn't completely his fault, but you know, he can't get suspended, and I can't see Defiant doing any better. We'll see what happens, but Defiant, he almost quit the league literally 2 weeks into being signed or announced to be signed. We'll see what happens, but I do like the signings of Kodak. The German flex support from the World Cup looked insane. He was up there with Unco, which is one of the best supports in the league. You got the insane tank line of Dako and Pakpo, which I'm very excited to see. I think Erster has some potential. I think Nalir maybe. Massa should be a fairly decent main support. Gator is going to be a great sub for, who is it? Pakpo, I think. But yeah, that's all their players. Not very many players. They are led by the San Francisco Shock ex-head coach, I think it was. We'll see. He didn't have that much success in Season 1, but we'll have to see what happens. I think he learned from some of his mistakes, you know. But we'll see what happens with this team. I think watch out for Kodak, Defiant, and the tank line for this team. 4 players to watch out for. And going on to the best team in the second video, number 11. The Toronto Defiant. Now people putting Toronto so low is just mind-boggling to me. They're full Korean. They have Bishop, who was a very good head coach from Season 1. He formed the London Spitfire roster, which won the championship. He won stage 1, and then he left, and then the team kind of like crumbled a little bit. And I think Bishop is a very good head coach. You got Neko and Envy, which were all insane. I think, in my opinion, they're top 10 in their role. I think Envy is top 5 or top 3 in his role. I think Asher was a pretty good tracer. I think he's a very good bench DPS, in my opinion, you know, sub. I think their support line in Aid and Rocky is quite strong. I think Stellar and Ivy have a lot of potential, and Yak Pung should be a very good tank. So that's how I see it for this team. I think they'll be quite strong, but we'll see what happens with the Toronto Defiant, and that's what wraps up my video. Now, if you did love the video, or like the video, or dislike the video, but if you did have any emotions toward this video, make sure to either like or dislike, but leave a comment, you know. Let's discuss some things, you know what I mean? Like, it's fun to speculate. Obviously, a lot of you guys are probably going to be upset. A lot of you guys are going to be happy that your team's not in this video and that they're in the next video. But top 10 will be covered very soon. Make sure you subscribe and put on those post notifications so you don't miss the next video for the top 10 Overwatch League teams. And then Dallas Fuel is a Meme 3 will be coming out soon. Until next time, don't forget to keep it reality, and sorry for my dogs barking in the background.